to tell you about my March TBR. It's going to be chaotic because I didn't finish February's books. There's a theme because I didn't finish January either, but hopefully I'll get a chance to work on some of those books that I didn't finish and still want to read. But in the meantime, I'm going to do the chaotic thing that I do, which is add more books to the list. Yeah, so we're gonna start with I guess the physical copies first, and I am doing the TBR Tackle Challenge, so I will try to like leave what each book is if it meets the challenge list below. But the first one I'm going to talk about is The Rules for Vanishing. The cover is really shiny, so sorry. But it's The Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. This is one of the books that obviously fits that green prompt for the TBR Tackle Challenge. You can follow them on Instagram and join the challenge too. But basically, this is about a girl named Sarah, and her sister has disappeared, and she's pretty sure that her sister Rebecca went to find this ghost that lives, or that like lingers along this road, and but the road is like all lore, and everyone like goes there to find it, but like bad things always happen to people who go find this road, and they usually don't come back. So now Lucy, or Sarah, has to go find her sister, and it says Lucy is waiting. So this will be creepy and exciting, and I'm hoping that we get some early thunderstorms when I decide to pick this up and read it, because the next book is another kind of like dark fantasy, and it is The Night Country by Melissa Albert. This is like the companion book, like not quite the sequel, but like the companion book to The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert, which is a dark fantasy that follows Alice, who is a teenage girl whose mom gets like basically abducted, and she thinks it's the hinterland that takes her. So they like have to find their way there and rescue her mom. But then the male character, Finch, I think is his name. Yeah, Finch decides to stay in the hinterland and like try to get some answers and discover some things about that world and like the other worlds that exist. So this book follows him more closely. So when I saw that my library had this, I had to pick it up. A lot of these are library books, trying to save money. And then the next books we're going to go through really quickly, because they're for, I'm going to be rereading my childhood favorites, so I'll do like a more in-depth video just about these, but they are part of my TBR, so I'm going to mention them in this video. And these are like my favorite books from my childhood, and we're going to just like go grade by grade. So we're obviously going to start with kindergarten. So these are the ones that I like remember really, really well from when I was a small child. So, and some of them are above my grade levels, some of them were read to me, but we're gonna talk about them. So the first book that I remembered really well is The Horse's Hat. This is like one of the first books I learned how to read. It's just super simple, probably kindergarten level. It only has a few words on the page, so it'll be like a 5-minute read and a whole lot of nostalgia. So I'm hoping that these are really quick and that I'll obviously be able to get to them. The next one, these are in no particular order, is Addy Learns a Lesson. This is actually an American Girl book. I loved these, and I didn't have like the full-size dolls, but I had like the small ones. But this was one of my favorite ones. I think Mom read this to us when we were little, and it is falling apart, this poor book. I need to fix it. But basically this is about a little girl named Addie who I believe her mom is like a maid, but she's managed to get Addie into school, and so Addie has to go to school every day, and like she walks there and back, and she's African American, so it's also a little bit about the issues that she faces trying to go to school as a little African American girl. And I'd say this is probably like 2nd or 3rd grade. But yeah, this should be a quick read as well. And the next book, I don't actually remember this story, but I remember the cover. So that's funny to me. And this is Katy and the Big Snow. So it's about a snowplow, which is pretty fitting for the Midwest, I think. This is just colorful, and it's got lots of pictures. It's probably a little bit above kindergarten, but I remember at least looking at it, if not reading it. So, and I'm sure it got read to me at some point, but I decided to choose this as well because I remember the cover, so clearly there are some fond memories there. The next one is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. This didn't have a dust jacket when I got it from the library, but if you're not aware, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is a story about, I think he's a scientist who like decides to try and make it rain food or like different odd things, and he succeeds, and one of those things is meatballs. So all these weird random foods start raining from the sky, and I remember thinking this book was so silly when I was a kid and not really knowing what I thought about it, but now I have fond memories, so gonna read that. Another one is Amelia Bedelia. I couldn't find the exact one that I remembered, but I know we read a lot of these, so I figured this is fine, and it looks like it's like close to the same editions. They've like updated her a little bit, but this looks pretty close to the ones that I remember. She's just, this is probably like 1st grade reading level, but like I said, Mom read to us a lot, so yeah, and it's got some fun artwork in it. She's just a silly housekeeper who has like no common sense and takes everything literally. So I thought this would be fun to reread for my favorite kindergarten rereads. And the last one is If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's what happens if you give a mouse a cookie, and I have lots and lots of memories of flipping through this and looking at the pictures and reading it or having it read to me, so it had to go on this list. Plus the artwork is just cute. Like, isn't it adorable? It just makes me happy. So that is it for my 2 library books that I want to get to, and my childhood rereads, which also came from the library. Now on to the ARCs. Hopefully there's time. Like I said, I am chaotic. Okay, so I had to go get my laptop because I couldn't remember what this book was about. I requested it months ago, and now it's time to read it. But Good Eggs is by Rebecca Hardiman, and it's from Atria Books, so thank you, Atria. This is, it says it's a joyous, exuberantly fun-filled novel of second chances and absolute delight from start to finish. Kevin Gogarty is an when Kevin Gogarty's irrepressible 83-year-old mother, Millie, is caught shoplifting yet again, he has no choice but to hire a caretaker to keep an eye on her, and Kevin, recently unemployed, is already at his wit's end trying to tend a full house while his wife travels to exotic locales for work. So he's left solo with a sulky, misbehaved teenage daughter whose troubles escalate when she befriends the campus rebel at her new boarding school. So this just sounds like a really cute little, I would say contemporary fiction, kitten. the next book is Fresh Brewed Murder by Emmeline Duncan. So this is a cozy murder mystery, and so this book is set in Portland, and which is infamous for its rain, hipsters, craft beers, and coffee. Sage Kaplan has high hopes of her coffee truck, Ground Rules, which she runs with her business partner Harley, a genius at roasting beans and devising new blends that's essential in a city where locals have an intensely strong opinions about cappuccino versus macchiato, especially in the case of one of Sage's first customers. Apparently someone was mad enough to commit murder. That's not great. But this just sounds like a super cute, cozy mystery, and it's coffee themed, which I love. So, the next one I think is actually a teen thriller. Yes, YA mysteries and thrillers. It is She's Too Pretty to Burn by Wendy Heard, which comes out on the 30th. And apparently the summer is winding down in San Diego when Veronica is bored, caustically charismatic, and uninspired in her photography. Nico is insatiable, subversive, and obsessed with the chaotic performance art. Their artist first, best friend second, but that was before Mick, delicate, lonely, magnetic Mick, the perfect subject, and Veronica's dream girl. The days are long and hot and full of adventure, and soon they are falling in love, falling so hard they never imagine what comes next. 1 fire, 2 murders, 3 drowning bodies, 1 suspect, 1 stalker. This is a summer they won't survive. Ooh, I like it. So it's apparently inspired by Dorian Gray. It is a sexy psychological thriller. So that sounds great. I believe this was an auto approval, so thank you, Macmillan. But yeah, I'm excited to get to this. It sounds like it'll be a really quick read, and exciting too, so that I'm excited about that. But yeah, so that sums up the arcs, and I remembered when I went to get my laptop, there's actually one more book that I am supposed to read this month, and that is for a read-along, which I joined because, like I said, I'm chaotic, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie Larue by V.E. Schwab. So I am super excited to read this. I picked this as one of my book of the month add-ons a couple months ago, and it's just been sitting there waiting to get read, and now I have an excuse to read it. So we're supposed to read like 100 pages a week, I think, and I started it the last week of February because I knew this week would be crazy busy with school and work and everything. So I went ahead and started it, and I'm at like page 70, and I have to read to 115 by the 6th of March, so that shouldn't take long. But yeah, that is the end of my super chaotic March TBR. I don't know how busy this month is going to be, but I'm hoping that I get to finish all of the ones I just told you about, as well as the ones I didn't get to in the couple months before this, so fingers crossed. But that sums this up, so I'll see you in the next video. Bye!